Hello, welcome to Pecan Corner. I'm Tina, and today I'm going to be making Midas Stew, which is a recipe that's thousands of years old. So I hope you'll join us. I haven't made this before, and we're going to give it a try, see how we like it. Alrighty, this recipe is, like I said, it's supposed to be from about 800 BC. And a tomb was excavated, the tomb of King Midas's father in ancient Phrygia, which is in a part of, that's now part of Turkey. And they found these big pots with some remnant of something in them, and so they analyzed it, and from that analysis has come various different recipes for this stew that they ate back then, and it sounds really delicious, so I'm kind of excited about it. We get to eat lamb more often these days because Aldi carries it, and they have it on sale every once in a while. So when they have it on sale, I buy a couple of whatever it is. They had loin last time, which is very nice. This is a butterfly leg of lamb. I've already cooked the barley, and it takes a long time to cook, and so I cook up enough for 2 or 3 days worth, and I put it in the fridge, and then just warm it up as Paul wants it. We found that although there are carbs in barley, it has a very low glycemic index, and it tastes really good. So it's a really good replacement for rice in any dish that you'd normally serve over rice. I made gumbo a while back, and Paul had his over barley, and he just enjoyed it so much. And the neat thing is it doesn't interfere with, it doesn't cause his sugar level. When we tested, we were still testing his blood sugar 4 times a day, and he can eat up to 2 servings of barley, and it doesn't affect his blood sugar at all. Doesn't make it go up. So that's a really cool thing, and he's really been enjoying being able to have some kind of grain again. Lentils are the same way. I was looking at them last night. Unlike other kinds of beans, lentils actually have a very low glycemic index, and so this will be the first time that Paul's had those since he's developed diabetes, and so it'll be interesting to see if they have any effect, but they shouldn't, according to the different things that we've read. The recipe, the neat thing I like about lentils is that they cook really fast, so you don't have to soak them, and you don't have to cook them for hours. This is a slow cooker, but I'm doing it in my Instant Pot. I don't use the slow cooker hardly ever anymore because the Instant Pot does such a good job, and so it tenders everything up. Plus I can brown it in there. So first thing I'm going to do is cut up my leg of lamb, and then I'm going to put it into cubes, and then I'll be right back. It's the recipe that it calls for 2 to 3 pounds of either goat or lamb. This is 2.4 pounds of lamb, so that'll be just perfect. So I'll see y'all in a little bit when I get it all cut up. This leg has a lot of fat on it. Now, if I were going to grill it or something, I wouldn't worry about taking most of the fat off. But lamb fat, sheep fat, can taste like lanolin. And so unless it's going to be like broiled or so that the fat gets nice and crispy, in which case it's delicious. Other than that, you don't want to eat the fat. It's not like beef fat. In that it doesn't taste, I don't think it tastes good on its own. So I'm going to remove all the fat from this leg. Alrighty, now then, I have put some olive oil, about a 1/4 cup of olive oil into the Instant Pot, and I've let it heat up on the saute or browning cycle. And now I'm just going to brown my meat. That's the great thing about this Instant Pot is I can brown things, in there before I use it. Let me get my other cutting board. I'll be right back. Okie doke. Now then, when Steve posted this, he said that the last time he made it, he didn't grind the spices, but he just doubled them and put them in whole. But I'm going to go ahead and grind them if I can. I want to, Christine, from my video where I made my chili using, starting with whole dried chili peppers instead of chili powder, she saw that I was using powdered Comino or Cumin, and she said get the whole spices and use those, and it will make a world of difference in the flavor. So I want to thank you, Christine, for pointing that out to me, and you'll notice that now I've got the real thing. So I'm using two teaspoons of cumin or Comino, depends on how you say it, and just gonna grind them a little. I don't know. I have a spice grinder in there, but I don't want to mess with getting it out right now. I don't need to get these into powder or anything. I just need to kind of give them a little bit of a grind. It's a lot of Comino. I'm really tempted to not put that much in there because that's a lot. We may have bad breath for a long time. Alright. And 2 teaspoons of either fennel seed or anise seed, depending on which one you have. I tend to always have anise seed. It's anise. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I always have this around because I don't use it very much. It has a little licorice kind of a flavor, delicious flavor. But Paul used to make anise sugar for the kids. He would grind it up with sugar. It would almost turn it to powdered sugar in the blender, and he put it in a shaker bottle, and so you could put it on buttered toast. And the kids used to like it when they were little. So that was kind of a interesting way to use something, a different kind of a spice than just the cinnamon sugar that they're used to. He kept both cinnamon sugar and anise sugar made up for them, and I don't know if they remember that. That was when we were first married, and eventually they kind of outgrew wanting toast, and so they could make other kinds of food for themselves. I'll have to ask them if they recall that. We'll have to make that up for the grandchildren too. That'd be a fun thing, because that's not something that you can buy. You can buy the cinnamon sugar, but you can't buy the anise sugar. Okay. So now that I'm setting aside, now then I've got Steve also said his recipe called for putting the lentils in first thing, but that he had found that it works best for him and he's using a slow cooker, and I'm going to make some changes because I'm using the Instant Pot, but to put to let the liquids and the spices and the meat cook for a couple of hours before putting the lentils in, and then let them have another couple more. So I'm probably going to do that too. These are brown lentils that I'm using, and they only need they need an hour at most to cook. They might just cook away if I put them in there too early. So I'm not going to put them in right away. I'm going to do the Instant Pot in two sessions. Chop a whole onion. It doesn't call for any garlic, and I'm wondering if garlic would be good in it, but I don't want to go messing with the recipe too much before I've tried it once. Get my onion peeled off here. Phrygia was in King Midas's kingdom, I was just reading, was eventually overrun by the Cimmerians, and that name caught my attention because I think it was gosh, I've gone blank here. The guy that wrote Conan, the Conan books, lived over in Cross Plains. Shoot, now I've forgotten his name, because we've actually been to his house over there. He was an author back in the 20s. anyway, he wrote the Conan books and some other ones, and one of his, and I think that was set that the Cimmerians were a character in those tales. Golly, I'll have to put his name in the tag in the comment when I remember it when I get done here, or maybe I'll look it up and tell you in a little while. And I have a nice chopper that Paul got me for chopping these onions, and I can't find it right now. I don't know what I did with it. It's in there, it's in the cabinet, but I kind of rearranged some things in there a while back because I had some more stuff I needed to kind of fit in there. I kind of have Fibber McGee's pantry, not the food pantry, but the butler's pantry, and I think I hid it from myself accidentally. So I'll have to turn it up. He bought it for me because he knows that the onions make me cry, and isn't it funny they do that to some people but not to everybody. But for me, just keeping them cold. If I keep them in the refrigerator, then they won't hurt my eyes when I go to cut them. Whereas if they're out of the refrigerator, all of the little techniques in the world, I've got these little anise and cumin seeds all over the cutting board here, so if you see little dark things, that's what it is. It's just those spices. So it's kind of interesting. Everybody has different things that work for them. It's kind of, and it's not mind over matter either. There's something to it, and I don't know scientifically what the reasons. I know what the reasons are for it causing us to cry, but I don't know what the reasons are for some of the cures working when other ones don't. That might be a kind of an interesting science fair project to figure that out, because some people can dip them in water first and they say it doesn't. So okay, now all right, now let me stir this and see how this is doing. Okay, that's all brown. Okay, next I'm going to add the onions. We're going to let those onions cook a little bit, and then we'll be back. Alrighty, now then, the onions and the meat have cooked well, and so I'm going to add in my spices, and I'm going to add in chicken stock. Now, the recipe calls for 2 cups of dry red wine. I've got dry sherry that I'm using. We don't drink, but I do cook with wines and liqueurs. And I don't have quite 2 cups, so I put in more chicken stock instead. Okay. Yeah, so I have this really what looks like a well-stocked liquor cabinet, and we don't drink. But I'm like, well, the Everclear is for making perfume with. There's some, if you want to do certain kinds of extracts, you need that, and so, and you know, you need a little rum plate, little rum to sprinkle on them. All right, now my Instant Pot's going off, and I let it just naturally decompress. So now I'm going to put the lentils in. I'm going to add 1 cup of brown lentils. I may add a little more liquid. I'm going to look at it here and see.
You don't want them to run out.
No, don't want them to run out in this thing.
You don't need a whole lot, but you can.
Right.
Right.
I'm gonna do is, there we go. All right. Let me stir that in. Yeah, there's quite a bit of liquid still. I think I'll add 1 cup.
Really fine.
Yeah, I'll just add a cup just to be.
You don't need to, Gina.
Huh?
You
Oh,
don't need to. I
okay.
just said that. If there's liquid in there, you're fine.
Okay, all right then.
Well, you can eat.
Yeah, the stew, the lamb stew.
Okay.
And I added the dried lentils. Paul's been napping, and then his therapist came, and he's been working out. And so okay, my pressure's on. Now I'm going to give this a, let's see what it says about if it's got a recipe for lentils. Let's see, black beans. There it is, lentils. Okay, lentils only need 10 minutes.
Yeah, they need, I was going to say they need a lot less.
Yeah, under pressure. So let's cancel. High pressure. 10 minutes and start. All right. See y'all again in a little bit. And there you have it. Isn't that delicious looking? One of the things I forgot to film is when you're cooking with alcohol in the Instant Pot, the pressure tends to hold the alcohol inside, especially if you vent naturally. So either flame it before you put it in if you're using a fortified one like I did, or boil it off, or you know, after you finish cooking it, so that you won't have a whole lot of alcohol left in the dish. And there we go. Now it's done. It tastes delicious. It's a very, very good stew. The anise and Comino blend together really surprisingly well. You taste almost like a new flavor instead of noticing the difference between the two. The only thing that I did not put in it is the original recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of honey, which, because of Paul's diabetes, I chose to leave out. So I did add some salt. I don't remember if I filmed that, but there is salt in the recipe, and so it does have salt in it. But it's really tasty. It came out nice and thick. The amount of liquid to solid ingredients is really good, and you know, you could make this with the lentils will affect the color. You know, if you use the pink lentils or green lentils, you're going to change the color slightly. But it's really good. The meat amount is just perfect. You're going to get meat in every bite, and and then the barley around it gives you a counterpoint to the lentils. But you could leave that out if you wanted to, and just have it as a kind of like a pea soup or a bean soup. Really good stuff. Steve, thank you for posting the recipe. It's fantastic. I'm really enjoying this. I was looking for some new things to do with lamb, and this was definitely an extra one. I will be making this one again. Thanks for watching, everybody. We just appreciate you all so much. I hope that you're staying warm in this cold winter, and everybody is safe from being sick. So y'all take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.